Hello to everyone out there. This is my first of many little series. Call it My Life's Little Stories. This is the first episode. We're going to talk about Father's Surprise. This was pretty funny, and I want to just tell the story as the way it was done in real life. The year was 1997. I had already been 18 years old. That year, my birthday fell on, I was 18 during the year leading up to my senior. But there was one little thing that was pretty funny. There was a video store. I went back there in 2020, and now it's a dental office, but that place was a video store back in the day. It was one of the best video stores out there. We had about 3 of them. I know we had more than 3, but the 3 main that I went to, there was one that this guy, he was like a DJ. He owned DJ equipment. He rented out and everything. But he had movies, video games. Guy was like a cool guy back then. He had the gold chain, the half-button shirt to see his chest hair, had the slick black hair. He was a cool guy. I wish I knew who he was. I wish I could talk to the guy now. But that's where I would go to rent my Genesis games, my Super Nintendo games. I'd go there. He even let you return a game if it was terrible. There was a game I had that was very, very terrible, but he let me return it. This other place, it's now a furniture store next to the original Taco Bell on my block. That place was a small video store, and it was pretty funny. Why it was funny was because 1985, Return of the Jedi came out on VHS, and I remember when it came out, I had my mom always renting the movie for me. And I think about 9 times into it, she looked at me and said, "Why do you want to keep renting this movie?" I said, "Mom, I want to watch it again." And I would sit there and literally watch it again and again. Because as I tell this story now, people my age, which I am 47 years old, there aren't video stores no more because of streaming stuff. Nothing bad, but just back when I was a kid, there was video stores. You went there, you rented a movie. You had it for about a day. Sometimes you had 2 days with them. I think Blockbuster had like a deal where you can rent it for 5 days. But to this day, I think, why would you want to rent a movie for 5 days in a row? But now, as a father, I see, like, say if it was a cartoon movie, you rent that movie, you play it on nonstop, it'll keep your kid entertained. But then I would laugh and say, well, if you're not entertaining your kids, then why'd you have them? But that's just my take on the whole thing, which is funny. Well, this story I tell was pretty funny because when I called a turn 18, you would think maybe you want to go out to eat or something, and maybe you get rewarded that way. But my dad, he was my stepdad, and back and forth I always deal with a stepdad, dad, stepdad. He was the guy I was there for a majority of the years, and he's the guy that I closest known as a dad. Well, one day we're sitting down in the living room. Now, before I go into context about this, Wednesdays were the worst days of my life in high school. Not that they were bad. It's just the fact that he was off work from Wednesday. He worked 6 days a week. And when he was off on Wednesday, it was like, oh crap, he's going to want to talk. He's going to want to talk to me, blah, blah, blah. And it was annoying. Now, as I think about it, I'm thinking the guy was just he wanted to relate. He wanted to talk. He works all week. He was a night stalker at a grocery store back in the day. So that Wednesday morning till Thursday night, he was off. And he just wanted to talk. And I remember that was the day I stayed outside the most. I tried my best to always be busy. What was funny to this context was 1995 when I was a sophomore. It was just me and him for a while, and I remember I went perfect attendance that year only because I didn't want to miss a day of school being sick, because I knew if I miss a day, I'm stuck with him, which was pretty messed up. But it was funny. It was what it is. Well, it was like, I think the week, you know how Labor Day comes and that's the week when school starts? I think it was a few days after that that Wednesday he was off, he goes to me and he goes, Junior, because my name is Junior. My name is Raul, but as a kid, I had like an X-Men name. It was Junior. No one ever called me by my real name. It was always Junior. The Junior, not the JR. Well, he goes to me and he goes, Junior, today's the day, son. And I'm thinking, what's the day? He goes, come on, let's go to the movie store. Let's go rent a movie. I go, okay. So we walk, because we only lived like down the block. It wasn't that far away from us. Walk down the block to the movies. We go inside there and I'm thinking, cool, let's go look at a movie. He goes, come here, son. He puts his hand on my arm and I'm thinking, what is he doing? And this is what was funny back then. Back then, if adult movies existed in a video store, which they did, they had a white curtain, which you all knew, don't go that curtain unless you're 18. So he looks at me and goes, son, let's go through that curtain and let's watch a movie. And I was like, what? And he's like, let's pick a movie, son. Pick any movie you want. I was like, oh my God, this is not happening right now. But it was. My dad was dead serious. He said, let's pick a movie, son. I walked behind a curtain and I sat there. And it was funny because I looked at the counter and I remember there were these two girls just laughing. They were trying their best not to laugh at a guy. And I knew they weren't going to ask me for ID because they probably knew, yeah, he's 18, but this is worse than asking for ID because they knew like how embarrassing this was. And I was like, oh, God, I got to do this. So we walked in there. And I remember we were behind the curtain. And all these movies, adult movies, they were bigger than the regular VHS movies. But I remember I just looked at them and I'm just thinking, I don't want to watch any of these movies with my dad. I do not want to watch them. And I remember he just looked at me like waiting, like which one are you going to pick, son? Which one? And I'm thinking, oh my God. I remember I just picked one. I didn't even think about who was the actor, who was the star, whatever. I just picked one. Then to make things worse, we check out. They were quiet at the counter, and I'm thinking like, I know you guys want to rip on me or what. We finally pick the movie, go to the counter, all's done, we go home, and then the dreaded part where I have to sit with him on the couch and watch it like it was a regular movie. I'm sitting there thinking, why am I watching this with you? I just remember the movie was like an hour and 30 minutes long or something. This wasn't like back in the day when you had DVDs and all that stuff and you could pick a scene. I just sat there and we watched the whole movie, and I remember when it was over with, I just couldn't wait for it to finish, and I was just like, I don't ever want to do this ever again. That's my story. First of many stories. Now, there are great storytellers out there and people who could tell everything, which is cool. I'm just telling you a little bit about my life. I'm 47 years old, and I've been around the block a few times, but just wanted to share this story with you. Like it, watch it, whatever. Have a good day, everybody.